So as temperatures flare in Minnesota, we have some breaking news coming in. And at the Eyes Open podcast, we're not only going to share the news with you, but we're going to look at the numerology and the hidden meaning behind all of this and the secret society Illuminati ties to all of this. Now, as you can see, the new news is 1,500 soldiers on standby for possible Minnesota deployment, source says, as state mobilizes National Guard. Now, the governor is saying he's going to send in the National Guard. Now, as you know, I always break down the numerology and the secret stuff that's hidden behind these types of events, especially being that a civil war could potentially break out, or seems as if it is. Notice how many troops is it showing? 1,500. There's your 1-5 again. For everybody that follows my channel knows I point out the 1-5 all the time, so they make sure they put it right there in the number of the soldiers. But we're going to start off by seeing, when was Minnesota made a state? Now, based on numerology is always there, I find it no coincidence that it was established on May 11th. Okay, so there you go. You still have your 1-5 right there, just backwards. As everybody knows that on my channel, if you've been watching it long enough, the Illuminati was established on May 1st of 1776. So that's where your 1-5 comes from, for the people that don't know. But in Satanism and in occultism, they reverse everything. So that's why you get a 1-5 instead of a 5-1. But a lot of times you will see a 5-1. So I find it no coincidence that it was established on May 11th. Okay, so there's your 5-1, 1-5 again. I also don't find it surprising that there are 6 lodges in Minnesota, Masonic lodges, with the Grand Lodge of Minnesota being right here. Now let's take a look into this Grand Lodge in Minnesota. Now, me personally, I don't believe in coincidences, and I find it no coincidence that this Grand Lodge sits at the bottom of what looks like this intersection right here. You know, if you guys know the occult meaning behind the crossroads, so it's technically not only a crossroads, but it looks an awful lot like an upside down cross, like it's sitting at the bottom of an upside down cross. So let's take a look into this old little lodge here. Now, not only do the roads, okay, you got your 13, you got your 11, West 111th, West 113th, you got your 13 and your 11 all over here, but the major highways intersecting throughout, let's take a look at those as well. I mean, they just love their numerology. You got Route 7, 77, okay? You got 55, all right? It's all over. If you look into the routes here, 13, they put it all over within even the routes of the city. So the city was set up with that in mind. Now, I find it interesting that a civil war could potentially start in this city, in this state, because Minnesota troops played a significant role in the Civil War, notably the 1st Minnesota Volunteer Infantry. Okay, so, and it said, famous for its heroic near-suicidal charge at Gettysburg. So, Minnesota played a huge role in the First Civil War. Now, do you guys remember this movie they dropped not that long ago? Remember this movie? Civil War. Okay, and I find it interesting that they got, you know, snipers posted up on top of the torch at the Statue of Liberty. And, you know, we know what that torch stands for. It stands for the Illumination, stands for the Illuminati. So they made sure they did that. Oh, yeah, and they made sure they released it on April 12th, too. You guys know what April 12th is, right? April 12th is the start of the American Civil War, the actual American Civil War. And I find it no coincidence that it started in April on the 12th and it ended in April. Now, see, April is the 4th month. So if it's 4-9, okay, what's 9 and 4? You got your 13 again right there. So they put this all over. Okay, so it's right there, April 4th. So even if you did when it started on the 12th, that's 3 and 4. There's your 7. They love their numerology numbers. They put it in everything. But also, April has huge significance for another reason. April is a very significant month in occult traditions, marked by astrological shifts Aries to Taurus, pagan festivals like Beltane's energetic buildup, and darker association with fire rituals and historic occultic events. Okay, so you need to understand and see it's particularly around the 19th, Baal Moloch worship. Now, you guys have known what has happened right around the 19th. You have Oklahoma City, you have Waco, you have Columbine. There's so many events, if you look it up, that happens around this time of the year in April, because April is a very significant month. Also, there's even more reason why it's happening in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. Remember, it's called the Twin Cities. Now, what does that remind you of? The twin pillars in masonry. Everything ties together, everything's connected when you look deep enough. So I urge everybody to be very careful and be on the lookout for these clues and what's happening, because I very much believe that this could be the start of the next civil war.